we are currently seeing a structural breakdown on the weekly time frame. A breakdown which it's indicative that we've hit the bottom. If I remove all this, we can see the next scene. Our breakdown occurred right here. We've confirmed the narrative that the market is ready to fully pivot and continue its upward trajectory, suggesting that all this was just accumulation. Despite all the talk of Bitcoin hitting 46,000, 42,000, and 38,000, and expectations of no growth with everything moving to the year 2025 and so on, obviously all that was ignored, and we've just been smoothly and patiently awaiting growth. We've already validated here, meaning with this break, when we've confirmed above this level. The downward trend, the main downward thrust, that is this wick, this black body, yes, it fueled an aggressive move when we consolidated above it. That happened 2 weeks ago and confirmed that the reaccumulation is over and we are ready. Our targets for this reaccumulation stage, if we calculate this range, remain at $106,000. That's my main goal, where most likely the peak for Bitcoin will be established, in my opinion. Or alternatively, where I'll be looking to lock in profits on altcoins. But nevertheless, I can tell you in advance that something similar might happen. We might shake things up a bit here. We might hang around for a couple more months at this point, while altcoins still have some shooting up to do. And then, in other words, the big capital needs time too. Let's just say it takes time for the big capital to start distributing and sell off all their assets to the retailers and so on. But your main target is $60,000. That's my main goal. This is likely where I'll be exiting the market. I think that within 3 months, we can reach this range. It's not too difficult. A 50% increase for Bitcoin is quite feasible. But the first range where I will start getting a bit cautious and consider taking some initial profit or anticipate a correction is the $86,000 range, because that's the first standard deviation, the first range that matches our current trading volume. For long-term targets, everything is clear, but what to do locally? Locally, if we look into a lower time frame on the daily period, we have the following situation. We formed this range of the highest traded volume. Purely technically speaking, I'd like to see a test of this range so we could possibly pick up some safer longs. Whether we'll get this test or not is a big question. But personally, I'm not prepared to trade Bitcoin itself in this range, meaning I'm not ready to go long here. I do have certain long positions I've taken within this range, and I plan to hold them until they potentially hit $100,000. I've posted these long positions in the channel, but besides that, I'm not planning to pick up any intraday longs on Bitcoin just yet. Because based on the current path, I'd like to at least wait for a certain pullback to around $69,000 to do some trading there. Set up a kind of formation, enter a position, place a local stop, and ride it up higher. Moreover, I may not even trade Bitcoin at all anymore. Why? Because if we smoothly pull up the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, we can see the following picture. Last time around, we successfully broke down the range, wiping out all the liquidity, and now we're consolidating above the last bearish leg. In general, we've anchored ourselves in position, which likely indicates that the bottom has been formed. And from here on out, we can only expect upward movements. Regarding target setting, Ethereum relative to Bitcoin will soon be so strong. Potentially, everything here could grow by 50%. Of course, we could go even higher, but that's another matter. I won't hold back. I'll play it by ear, but the potential is certainly magnificent. In other words, ETH has huge potential to show incredible strength soon. Accordingly, I'll continue to open any long positions on ETH. On the channel, I shared a long position on ETH. We successfully opened a long at 2500. If I recall correctly, that's where the longs were initiated. This long position is still maintained. Yes, there was a stop at 7%, but currently it's giving us a 0.6 R, which isn't critical since it's a swing position. I'll try to hold it until it reaches $5,000 to $6,000. Why? Similarly, imagine if Bitcoin soon shows a 50% increase, Ethereum could potentially show 100% or even 150% increase. As a result, I'll be setting my targets in that range, $5,000 to $6,000. I think that's where we'll see the peak for Ether, $7,000 to $8,000, $10,000. I don't really see it happening because I want to cash out more conservatively. I don't want to, hang on too long and then miss out on the right moment to sell. Hold on, and then not manage to sell at that range. My first significant sell-off will happen around there, particularly with spot trades. For spot and Sphinx longs, we're looking at a range of $5,000 to $6,000. It's pretty clear here, and like I've told you before and written in my channel, these lows are not going to be taken out. I know a lot of people are waiting for these bottoms to be cleared, but they won't be, because there's a decoupling happening, so I won't be targeting these lows. I constantly ignore those targets, and even when all the longs open up near the compression liquidity, sure, now the smart money will swoop in, I ignore all that. For me, it's a clear model here. After the accumulation phase, we're now seeing a stage of manipulation, and I believe explosive growth is just around the corner. We're talking real explosive growth here. Aggressive moves like we've seen before on the weekly time frame. There will be a relentless rise. Bam, bam, bam. The shorts are going to be buried, and it's going to be pretty fun for the bulls, holding on to spot, going long, and the like. Honestly, I can't see it going any lower. It would be really unusual for me. Not that it would be completely unexpected, but I'm just not prepared for that. When it comes to shorting, I'm not opening any short positions. It's longs only for me. I won't be opening shorts in this range. I'll be ignoring all these problematic zones. This is not a shorting area. To me, it's just liquidity. The price won't pause here because this range won't provide the selling volume needed to push the price lower. Here, you just need to target liquidity and have a little patience. Understand that pumps don't happen in just an hour. They might take a month, but overall, the narrative is quite clear. As for altcoins, in terms of Bitcoin dominance, the overall look is pretty good. We're about to enter the reversal phase, and this is generally understandable. I believe it's a familiar topic. Where exactly the turnaround will happen? I don't care whether it's 60, 59, 61 or 62%. It honestly doesn't matter to me, because I just know we're at the point of reversal, and it will happen very quickly. You'll be able to see all the reversal points. It happens quite clearly, because so you won't be given many chances to enter positions later, which means altcoins absolutely must be taken at the current prices. I'm all in the market, I mean. I should emphasize, I've never held all my assets in the market before. I've been a trader since 2020, and I've never before held onto my assets. I've never converted all my USDT to spot to buy up altcoins. But now, the times have changed, and I'm ready to take the risks. Remember that crypto is like the Wild West, and your funds could vanish at any moment. I have to emphasize this, but nonetheless, I'm willing to take these risks because the profit potential is magnificent. Check out the video on the top 3 best altcoins. But check out the video on the top worst altcoins and draw your conclusions. Perhaps you might pick up something useful. If some of your assets are in the red, don't worry. Why? Because that's normal. Because if you look at the history, it's always been like this. For example, before a significant rise, say Atom went from around $5 to almost 50, that's practically a 5 to 6 times increase. If we're talking about practically 10x returns, there was also a local drawdown for people here. They were down by 30. They were down by 50%. And there have been significant drawdowns, like minus 30, minus 20 on spot. There's nothing too bad about that. Even people who bought in, they had drawdowns up to 70%. It's not critical because this is a high volatility altcoin. The most important thing is to hold and at least jump out at the middle of the rise, not at the very start. So don't be afraid. Just hold on. I believe we're at a stage now where the less you do, the more you'll earn. Atom is still outstanding. It's an asset you can confidently load up on with a significant portion of your deposit. Once again, there's a huge accumulation. Eventually, all of this will close with manipulation. And naturally, there will be a very aggressive final growth phase. Even on features, you can pick it up with second and third leverages. I think it's a smart idea. I've generally picked it up too. So take a look. Theta, FBFS, and Laji also look pretty cool. Ape performed well, already making a move upwards and taking over the motion. But I think that after this correction, which is quite logical, and if we look at the Fibonacci levels, we've entered the discount range. Accordingly, we can start taking specific long positions now. We've passed the 0.5 mark. In this range, I would also cautiously take longs, with modest leverage. Third, fourth leverage, carefully, with large stops and substantial take profits. And you could ride Ape up to a range of 3 to 5, or even $7 to $8. Just take a moment here. That's a potential 500-600% increase. On futures, that'll look really impressive. That's all I wanted to say. For the finale, we'll wrap up this video with ODAL3. I'll also touch on a bearish scenario. You see, the crux of it is that it's also important for the current day's candle to close above the 60-30 yards level. If we don't see this, if there's a sweep, then there's a chance of another slight dip. This is possible. Why? Because unfortunately, many altcoins have similar equal lows. And these equal lows can potentially be taken out. I don't want to claim that they won't get taken. It's still possible for sure. Yes, the outlook certainly looks splendid. Bitcoin's dominance is about to reverse, but nonetheless, I'll keep my hand on the pulse. I won't be going all in with my whole deposit on a long position, setting a stop here right now. Why? Because there could be a stop and a reversal. Stop loss and turnaround. I'm not ready to spend all my ammo, so any trades I'm about to open, I'll be opening them with that mindset. With the idea and the risk that there might be a potential re-rating. Meaning, although we've had an internal liquidity rating, there could be another re-rating. And even if there's a stop here, I'll re-enter with a more localized stop. So, any trades I make and my current, let's say, market interactions, I'll base on this theory and these expectations. If you look into any altcoin, most altcoins show something similar. Stark is the same. Yes, there were some local manipulations. These are relatively strong lows. But nonetheless, after such prolonged trading, there are relatively uniform lows. And we might still see something like that. I'm not claiming it with certainty. Do not short these levels. There's just an added chance of a squeeze. If that squeeze happens, it's clearly a market buy. So basically, we just go long on the market for some local stops and so on. Because this is the final shakeout that most likely will initiate a true upward movement for those very same 300 to 500% gains. There might not necessarily be a shakeout, so I just take the swings. As for local trades, I'll likely watch closely. I'm still thinking about where to pick them up, either in this range after a test if there's some reaction, or in a second range after these lows are taken out. I recommend trading Atom because it's more of high to middle cap, let's say, and it's more technical and safer. There isn't that risk of, you know, a 50% drop-off, so to speak. People who don't follow risk management, at least you might not get liquidated, because there might be some other more volatile altcoin that could liquidate you on the first squeeze. Overall, the targets remain the same. I'm looking at a range between 1.3 to 1.7, and we'll see beyond that. But just a minute. That's already a significant increase. That's 170 to 200% growth. If it's 200% by the index, then the altcoins I'm holding, the ones I gave as the top 5 best altcoins, they can yield 500, 600, 800, and even 1000%, because they are more volatile. Keep that in mind, have a look, and so on. That's basically it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button. I hope you all manage to earn well. I'll be only too happy if this analysis helps you out. Good luck to everyone. Big profits to you. Stay healthy and be happy.